So let's show combat now. So whenever you lock onto the enemy, which there will probably be other ways to get into combat, right? But for now, whenever I go into combat stance, as you can see, yeah, combat stance. I don't know why I said combat stance. Whenever I lock on, I'll go into combat stance. And whenever I move left and right, it's doing this little strafing thing. Whenever I move backwards, it's going to do a little backwards flight. I just unlocked on. And then whenever I move at him, this looks quite cool. So obviously, if I'm moving forward and right, it will just show right. You know, the basic idea of a shoulder cam is so that you're not staring at the back of your head like you are right now, because that just isn't very great looking, right? So something like this is probably more what it would look like. Obviously, it's off-centered because the center is my carrot, blah, 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 blah. Easy stuff to fix. I just wanted to show it basically now. But let's show the actual punching. Obviously, right now it's a 3-hit combo, and I'll show it in more depth after I explain this. So one thing we want to do is, instead of it being, oh, play a 3-hit combo, once you click, it'll be 1, 2, 3, right? Like you'll have to, it will segment each of this loop into parts. So it'll be boom, 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 you know? And the idea is just making these things smooth in between. So let's actually show, let me go up in the air. I think that's a better way to see it. So right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and punch. So those little particles, whatever you want to call them, the little impacts, we call them impact frames, because that's kind of what they're reminiscent of. So this is something that both Key and Melee are going to have, just new visual effects. These are little animated ones, so they play 3 different frames before disappearing. So as you can see, it's a right fist, left foot, and then right knee. One thing I'll note is their rotation. They'll probably be better if they're a proper particle, almost how the normal DBC damage indicators, those right there. That's most all of combat and such right now. So I don't know. You know, give feedback down below. I'm quite happy with this so far. These were like just, you know, first pass on the whole combat thing. The entire movement here, the punching part, and blocking, which I could show now, were all pretty much done in a few days by our animator while I was away. So I want to mention something, the little random stuttering from the blocking. If you could see down here, it's switching to combat block hit. Basically, it's just randomly acting as if I'm being hit, for the sake of just visualizing what that looks like. But this is the block, and whenever it stutters, that's the, I can kind of show these. So if I do combat block hit, that's them being hit. This is just the blocking. This is that whole loop, the stance, and this is the heavy hit, which breaks the positioning a lot. Not sure why, but you know, you get the idea. Big old right hook. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys walking after we showed combat. So this is what walking will look like basically, right? One thing I want to draw attention to, the thing on the floor, that is the direction you're walking. So if I was to go to the right, it would do that. Or if I'm just going straight to the right, it's just to the right. So as you can see, I tilt a little. That's why it was added, to help visualize while I was working on the whole leaning thing that my character's doing here. I needed to be able to visualize which direction the character thought it was going, so that I could properly rotate the model with them. So things like that. Running, which I'll point out, the timing feels awkward. Definitely one we should give some more attention to. It's really just hard to get the speed on that right, but beside that, let's show jumping. Simple right there. A little falling animation where it has nice little wind trails behind it, which has little rendering issues right now, but nothing we can fix, of course. I also want to mention, if I'm moving forward and falling, I get this little falling animation, which is reminiscent of Link from Breath of the Wild. Okay, another thing, let's just show flying, which you could don't mind that. You didn't see that? So floating right here, just nice and simple. One thing I want to mention, flight also does the right and left leaning whenever I move like this. But there's also that little wind up, which not super happy with, but I just wanted to try that to see kind of what that would look like. So I left that there. Really excited to get these properly, like, you know, actually hitting the enemy. It's frankly not that far off. Just, you know, need to split the animation into 3 parts so that you can be bow, bow, bow. And yeah, really excited for this so far. I hope you guys are liking the animation so far. If you have any suggestions, please comment down below. I'd love to hear feedback on them. We're still obviously early on in this. Hope you guys are liking what you're seeing so far. Any feedback is welcome in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.